back of the rim. Go now! On the side. Here's Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot!
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. Dan, I know we've beaten this to death already today, but just one last time, do you expect Kyrie to be in training camp this year when the team reports? Do you expect him to be on this team?
Right now, Kyrie Irving is under contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers for 2 or 3 years, depending on the last year. So as of now, he's one of our best players, and sure, we expect him to be in camp.
So, if you haven't seen the video where Dan Gilbert kinda sort of assures that Kyrie Irving is gonna be in Cleveland for the starting training camp, well, now you have, and you can see that it was not that assuring. It was more of a, yeah, Kyrie is kinda obligated to be there if we haven't traded him yet cause he's still under contract for the Cavaliers. This conference had a really awkward vibe to it that kinda made it feel like Kyrie is on his way out, and to be honest, after the Cavaliers signed Derrick Rose, I wouldn't be so surprised to see Kyrie gone. What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and I hadn't originally planned to make a video about Derrick Rose signing with the Cavaliers. It's not that big of a deal because this isn't MVP Rose we're talking about. This isn't even the type of Rose that we know is going to be around for the playoffs, so I was thinking about letting it slide, but D-Rose still is kind of my favorite player, and I had some things I wanted to say after people were asking me what I thought about the signing. So first things first, I wanted to go ahead and put it out there that it's obvious this signing does not save the Cavaliers, especially given the hot climate right now between Kyrie Irving and the team. If anything, it raises more questions because I'm wondering how the Cavaliers are viewing this signing. Of course, Twitter's first reaction to Derrick Rose signing with the Cavs was to make jokes because he's been injured forever. Yeah, haha, we get it, Derrick Rose doesn't have any knees. But low-key, the Cavaliers made a good pickup. I don't think many people actually took the time to watch Derrick Rose play last year because who wants to watch Knicks games? Let's be real right now. But on the flip side to that, this was the best that Derrick Rose actually looked since his ACL injury. He's still very quick, he can still do all those layups that he used to do, he just doesn't play the same way he used to. He even said he doesn't want to play that way anymore because he feels that's what led to him getting hurt in the first place. Now, sadly, this ended up being kind of fruitless, being that he tore his meniscus at the end of the season. But for the time that he did play, he was statistically and physically better than he's been since his ACL injury. He shot 47% from the field, 18 points a game. His 4 assists aren't that impressive, but he did play 64 games, which is the second highest he's played since that ACL injury. So if anything, Cleveland should be very happy that they even got Derrick Rose considering the cap space situation, cause it was a bargain. Even though he keeps getting hurt, when you just look at how he still plays, $2.1 million to get Derrick Rose is not a bad thing. But again, this is what raises questions about Cleveland's plan, because technically Derrick Rose is still a starting point guard. And with Kyrie Irving asking for a trade, this might be a bit of a blessing in disguise for Cleveland because you've heard me speak numerous times on this channel about how their cap space situation basically screwed them for the future. They've had no way to get better than Golden State, they've had no flexibility to really make any moves. But if you've got Derrick Rose starting at the point guard position and you know you can get major assets for Kyrie Irving, that changes things quite a bit. So just like my previous videos, I'm not playing the guessing game on where Kyrie is gonna go because right now it's up in the air. He has no control over the situation and we simply have no clue what offers Cleveland is actually fielding. But seeing as how Derrick Rose had a great season for his new standards last year and now he's playing next to LeBron James, I wonder if Cleveland would bet on Derrick Rose right now as a starting point guard and cash Kyrie Irving in for some great assets so that they could restructure this team to actually maybe be able to hold a candle to Golden State. Now I realize that this is a long shot basically because Golden State is so superior and the roster doesn't really have any weaknesses. However, it's also a long shot that Cleveland's roster as is ever going to be able to give Golden State a match. So with all that being said, is it a terrible idea to let Derrick Rose be your new starting point guard while you trade Kyrie Irving for another star, because you can get another star player for Kyrie Irving or just multiple assets and just go on from there? This could play a huge part in helping Cleveland with their long-term goal, which is to retain LeBron James for the rest of his career. I know on Twitter the other day LeBron James basically dispelled the notion that he wants Kyrie Irving traded, and why would you? Why would you ever be eager to have pretty much a top 5, top 7 point guard traded? I know he's not eager for that, but you know what else he's not eager for? I know he's not eager to stay in Cleveland past this year when the second best player on the team doesn't even want to play with him. I know he's not eager to stay on a team that's basically deadlocked with their cap space situation to where they can't get significantly better to compete for titles. And trading Kyrie Irving could help with both of those things if Cleveland truly does want to choose LeBron over Kyrie for years to come. But let's talk more about what betting on Derrick Rose actually looks like. Now, this is a huge risk, as detailed in my video a couple of months back when Derrick Rose first got injured and I thought his career might have been over. It wasn't that the knee injury was so bad, but I was just wondering what team is going to take a chance on him. He hasn't played one full season in the league since his ACL injury, he's had 2 other knee injuries since then, he hasn't played over 66 games since then, and this may be a big reason why it was reported that the Spurs actually ended up passing on him, and the Spurs in that video were the team that I said would have been perfect for him. I never would have mentioned Cleveland as a contender for Rose, mainly because I didn't think he was going to accept going from $20 million to $2 million a year, but he did, and now he has a chance to contend, and here's why I like him on Cleveland. First off, let's talk about a world where Derrick Rose is the starting point guard for Cleveland. I'm not going to theorize who they traded Kyrie for in this scenario, but Derrick Rose is the starting point guard. You know, just with the roster that they have right now, Derrick Rose never has to try to be what he was. In the video where I discussed why Derrick Rose definitely deserved his MVP in 2011, we just talked about all the amazing things he did and the underrated carry job he pulled off for Chicago, the amount of the offense that depended on him, but on Cleveland, that never has to happen. In Chicago in the MVP year, Derrick Rose was basically averaging 8 assists. Next to LeBron, that's never gonna happen because LeBron takes care of that. Even when there's a point guard on the team, LeBron is the distributor, everything goes through him. So right off the bat, when we're talking about contending situations, this is probably the least pressured situation that Derrick Rose could have landed in. And then you discuss the other personnel besides LeBron James that Rose is playing with. You may not have noticed, but Rose has never had just straight up shooters in the starting lineup with him to relieve this kind of pressure because Rose has never been a great shooter in his career. He's always been the guy that gets to the bucket, and with J.R. Smith and Kevin Love spreading the floor, it becomes that much easier for him. And one thing in these videos I've forgotten to talk about is how this could positively affect Kevin Love. If a trade did go down and Derrick Rose was the starting point guard, obviously that's a downgrade at the point guard position no matter how you cut it because Kyrie Irving's scoring would be missed. However, plenty of you have forgotten how good Kevin Love is because most of you didn't watch him in Minnesota. You watched him as soon as he got to Cleveland, and in Cleveland he's only been third fiddle to LeBron and Kyrie. He's been a catch and shoot player and you haven't seen most of what he could do. But if Kyrie does go, obviously it completely depends on who they actually trade him for, but this could give Kevin Love a big role in the offense. A scenario this would work in is one like what almost just happened. Well, it didn't almost just happen, but it was talked about where the Suns were in trade discussions for Kyrie with the Cavaliers. They wouldn't include one of their young guys they just drafted with Eric Bledsoe, but if that trade would have went down, that would have definitely increased Kevin Love's role in the offense because yes, Eric Bledsoe was good, and the rookie they would have included is probably going to be pretty good too. However, none of them equate to a Kyrie Irving type player that requires Kevin Love to just sit in the corner and get out of the way. But for your own sakes, a lot of you might want to check what Kevin Love is about when he's not playing the third option all season. If LeBron James and Kevin Love are the 1-2 punch for the Cavs, they still easily make the finals in the Eastern Conference. If you throw what Derrick Rose produced last season on top of that, and depending on what you get from the guy you traded for, that's still a really good team. Now, back to the main point, does this beat the Warriors? Sadly, probably not, because that's just the state of the NBA right now. The Warriors are that damn good. But again, as much as this season is about winning a championship, it's also about keeping LeBron James happy enough that he plays the rest of his career there. And although betting on Derrick Rose is still a huge risk for obvious reasons, it still provides them sort of a way out that wasn't there before. It's just a potential way to give Cleveland flexibility that they didn't have before. And I don't know about you all, but I'm very excited for the potential for this move for Derrick Rose just because of the situation it puts him in. Like I said, this is the easiest situation of his career, he's in a contending situation, and this is by far the best roster he's ever played on. The only reason I didn't discuss Derrick Rose being a 6-man for the Cavaliers is because A, the video is about what if the Cavaliers were crazy enough to actually bet on him, and B, given the climate of everything right now with Kyrie and the Cavaliers, it's just extremely hard to see him starting the season with those guys. With where we are right now, I just think Derrick Rose is more likely to be the starting point guard than not. And if things do turn out that way, I'm just excited to see Derrick Rose in the best situation and on the best roster he's ever been on. And that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to leave in the comment section what do you think about this. Do you think the Cavaliers could bet on Derrick Rose and trade Kyrie for better pieces? Do you like the flexibility that it gives them that they really don't have right now, because this is the same exact roster that they had against Golden State plus Derrick Rose? That's basically all it is. So just let me know what you think they should do. Hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. I'm Dom2K, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.